What's going on, everybody? This is Ven, and I welcome you back to the MOC Spotlight, where we take apart what you build. For today's episode, we'll be taking a good, hard look at Sigma Takanuva, created and posted to our message boards by Likus. Before we get started, let me remind you of my method of reviewing, which involves a point system that is based on 3 fundamental attributes: the overall appearance of the MOC, the build of the MOC itself, and the concept and ideas behind the MOC's creation. Each quality will mount up to 5 points, leading up to a final score that will be determined at the end of the episode. And please remember that this is all based on my opinion, so don't get angry if you... Anyway, let's get this started. Dang, dude, this guy went from being the toe of light to the toe of heavy. I mean, sheesh. He's been doing a lot of weightlifting since 2003, but I guess that was already made evident before, huh? But let's not forget how small he got just a year later. What a shame. And now here he is again, bold and buff as crap. Right off the bat, I really dig the whole modernized yet classic design we have here. He's got the old gold and white color scheme that we've all come to know and love, and the same layering with the colors as well, and the same staff of light shindig. But obviously, he's almost completely aesthetically different. I mean, his golden armor is in a different style, with his shoulders having this plated look to them. His mask is stylized, and it looks like something redesigned by Michael Bay's Transformers art team. His arms and legs are completely different in shaping. And last but not least, he's got a friggin' he's got an 8-pack. Complementing this manly, macho man, masculine body build he has here, which I gotta say, looks great. Frankly, it reminds me of me. And I'd say that this is a pretty solid design, but there are a few complaints I have. For one thing, I kinda wish this MOC had more of the detailing seen in the mask and the abdomen. If this was spread out across the arms and legs, then there'd be a good bit of consistency that would be much appreciated. Now don't get me wrong, I still think that the MOC looks pretty alright as it is now, but I feel that this could have helped complement it a bit more. The arms especially could use a bit more depth to them, considering how simple they are, but as the MOC stands right now, they work pretty well. You know, aesthetically, they're kind of consistent with the texture of the legs, so hey. And speaking of which, the legs, they look great, but I am a little iffy about the area towards the ankles, but I do like the shape and how they look overall. And one last thing that really bugs me though, and I mean it really bugs me, is the way that this MOC looks from behind. I mean, what the heck is this? It's so weird and open and ugh. But hey, since we're already looking at the fairly exposed back portion, let's discuss this MOC's build. So it's pretty obvious that a good bit of this build is customized, and that it looks like the builder got intuitive in that regard. It isn't exactly the cleanest looking job, but it still does its job pretty well, and the effort is not to be taken for granted. Everything looks to be nicely packed together in a way that keeps the MOC still and sturdy, aside from maybe the shoulder armor, which looks to be a little highly suspect. It also retains the basic points of articulation with the inclusion of articulated fingers, which are crafted quite cleverly, if I may add. The best part of this build, of course, is the attention to detail in the midsection of the torso and the whole head itself, which utilizes a good bit of the system parts that give these portions their shape, but they look so well put together I can't be too concerned with them as I would be typically with system portions of these kinds of MOCs, where I'd always be like, oh, I hope it doesn't fall apart or something. You know, system parts are always so loose, I'm worried here. It's a bit of a shame that the arms aren't really customized to the level that the rest of the MOC is, but that's okay, I guess. And then one last bit of praise I have to throw in is the way that the staff is connected to the hand over here. I mean, look at that. That is a really neat way to work around the consequences of making articulated fingers, which typically have difficulty keeping a grasp over tools or weapons like this. Unfortunately, this MOC doesn't appear to have any type of function or special play feature, but hey, it's definitely a great figure, all in all. Now, conceptually, this MOC is supposed to be a reimagined design of good old Takanuva, as I kind of implied earlier. The goals look to be fairly obvious with the entire change in posture and the aesthetics, all the added details and the extra points of articulation. It looks like it's trying to not only be a reimagining of the character, but also a practical improvement of the old figure as well. Keeping that in mind, I think it does a pretty good job of improving some things, like making it a lot more posable and more interesting of a figure to look at. But of course, there is room for improvement. But I really do like the redesign of the armor and the use of the brighter gold parts and whatnot, because that looks way better than the dark gold that the old one had going. You know, it all looks way more aesthetically pleasing than what we had on the original. And, you know, as much as I like the head from the Takanuva of old, and as much as the head deviates from the original design in both shape and style, it does fit this new style that the builder introduced this character to. So I appreciate that, all in all, this is the builder's creative interpretation of the character's appearance. It's different, yet still familiar. It follows some of the same rules, but it is more stylized, and all in all, it came out looking pretty great. I mean, usually character redesigns are really hard to get done properly, but I think that this one does its job right, and unfortunately I don't have many other pictures to show off and drag on this video, so now I think it's time we wrap this up and go over the scores now, shall we? So, in terms of appearance, this MOC receives a 4.5 out of 5. Despite a few minor issues I have, a bit of inconsistency, and the really weird looking back, the MOC looks so clean and just great overall. I really like the new style, the new gold, and the whole aesthetic it has going on here. In terms of the build, this MOC receives a 4 out of 5. It's not the cleanest job, but this is a pretty well-rounded build. The MOC is a solid, complex, posable figure that unfortunately lacks functionality, but I think the detailing and structure really makes up for it all a ton. Not much else I can really say in that regard. And in terms of the concept, this MOC receives a 4.5 out of 5. The builder does a great job depicting this character in his own style, and it really does get me wondering how he would redesign some of the rest of the Toa, like Tahu. Make Omega Tahu, you know, that'd be cool. Unless you've done it already, I would have to check. I gotta, like, really double check a lot of these things. But anyway, it's interesting to look at, it's creatively put together, but it still has some problems that I feel could be improved on. But these problems don't really pull this MOC too far away from being considered well executed. So pip pip the doodly doo to you, Likus. And altogether, we are left with a final score of 13 out of 15. Great job to you, Likus. This is quite the snazzy MOC you have here, and I'm intrigued to see what else you can pull off. I know this isn't the first time you've been on MOC Spotlight, but hey, you know, you keep this up, it definitely won't be the last. And that goes for the rest of you viewers. If you guys got something creative up your sleeves that you'd like to show off, please post it to our message boards at board.ttvpodcast.com. Check out the LEGO Creations category, because that is the exact spot where we allow everybody to just post their toast. And, you know, that's my primary source of MOCs to throw up on the spotlight so I could show off everything that you guys do, and then bag on them if they look bad, or praise them if they look amazing. So please, take it into consideration if you haven't already, and I hope you do so I can see you there, and if I don't see you there, then well, I'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching.